All right, this is One Last Midnight. Welcome back to another episode of Astroneer, and I want to talk to you about patch 1.0.15. But I'm really confused because there was no patch notes for 1.0.14. So what was in 14? I have no idea what was in 14. Let's get into the patch notes for 15, which are very similar to what Joe said on the live stream for 14 and what was reported on Reddit, right? So first off, most important, Xbox and Windows 10, there was a delay in your release. I don't know if it has been released yet or when it is going to be released, but they're having some deployment issues, and so hopefully that'll get out to you soon. The rest of the patch notes for the updates are broken into three major parts. So let's go over them individually. The general updates, there was a large update to the network code that will improve performance in multiplayer sessions. I can verify that that's true. I've gained about 10 frames for multiplayer sessions, and I tested it for about 2.5 hours when the patch came out. I was pretty impressed. System error is definitely going in the right direction. There is an enormous amount of defects or glitches or whatever you want to call them in multiplayer that really need to be addressed, but overall, I was able to play with 4 people for 2.5 hours without having my machine performance drop way down or my frames drop way down. And matter of fact, as people left the game, I saw a huge bump in frames. So definitely going in the right direction. I'm happy to see that. The rest of the general updates are very similar to what came out, but there's more information on it. So code redemption is now available in Astroneer. Redeem your recruit bundle codes now. Gateway engines no longer require oxygen. We reported this all in 14. Emote section is now persistent account wide. So what that means is that it stays with you. You select it, it stays with you. The gateway transportation exit points have been changed a little bit, so you're no longer taking fall damage when you exit. The scrap value of graphite has been reduced from a high 0.75 to its intended 0.25. They said this was a minor exploit. I don't think it was an exploit. You still had to grind. You guys, system error are the ones that put in the value. So I don't know how you could say it's an exploit. You just put into too high of a value. So I see more of a rebalancing to me than an exploit. The number of balance and distribution of hazards and research samples are included in this patch. And so that's the other 2 sections of this, right? So let's get into the research samples and items, since I didn't have a lot of information on 14. It didn't seem like it came out on 14, but here it is. Increase the research sample spawn probability on silver forest biomes by 25%. Increased the density of research items and samples in Silva subterranean biomes, and the respawn times for research samples have increased 25%, and they also increased the value of the research items by 20% and also reduced their research time by a similar margin. All right, I'm torn with the whole increasing values and decreasing time and increasing frequency of research. I think it's too easy to get research. It is too easy to get those research bites. So I don't know. I'm torn with this research change. I don't know why they felt they needed it, but there it is. It's in 15. Some of the hazards that were changed. Previously the single growth of the cataplants are now a triple, or they're a trio. So they sprout on Glacio's ice sheets, so you'll see them in groups now. Okay. Delayed the bounce vine explosion to 0.5 instead of from 0.5 to 1.5 seconds after being uprooted. It seems like it's more dangerous if it's 0.5, but okay. Adjusted both the noxious and elegant spew flowers to have a stronger toxin. That's nice. Make that more dangerous, sure. I think, for hazards overall, I think hazards need to be way more dangerous, but thank you for making some changes to the hazards. And so that was the 3 major updates that they had in 1.0.15. Let's go on to some of the bug fixes that they had. They addressed an issue with performance optimization which is causing intermittent crashes in 1.0.14. You know, other than knowing that, I don't know what else is in 1.0.14. It would be nice to hear whatever the changes were in 1.0.14. Fixed a long-standing bug which would cause the shelter tooltip not to reappear when players exited the shelter. Fix the messaging of the research chamber for non-researchable items until the save is reloaded. Fixed a bug in customization system for suit palettes with non-default materials. Correct, been changed the backpack color slots, which is cool. Fixed a bug where players were unable to drive large rover trains for more than 2 rovers. That's a good and a fantastic fix, because I know that's been upsetting, you know, enormous amount of people about being able to drive. There's, you know, with Terrain 2.0, they introduced a lot more driving problems, and so nice to see the driving problems are getting resolved. Fixed a glitch, and by that we mean hilarious exploit, which occurs when entering a shuttle and being able to pick up stuff simultaneously, including clients. Client players can no longer carry platforms when entering this shuttle. Okay. Fixed a bug causing small printer functionality to become suppressed when instructed to print the thruster until the correct cable is connected. Astroneer nuggets now use the correct color texture. There's a lot of things that I reported for 14, which I guess we're not in 14. Text boxes no longer overlap when collecting one or more kind of resources. So actually, yeah, and previously you'd see them overlap. Now they kind of, you know, scroll up like almost like a chat window scroll. Fix a bug causing batteries to send out power in one direction connections, even though they had no access power being sent to it. And fixed an incorrect research bytes value and research time for some hazards. Right, that goes to mainly their research change, right? So, and the last note, which is, it's cool that they've been nominated for 5 Webby Awards, and that's what the last note is that they have been nominated for 5 Webby Awards, and get out there and vote if you haven't voted. I mean, I love Astroneer. It's hard for me to, you know, really be upset with some of the stuff that they're going through. I've heard an enormous amount of complaints in my chat that have talked about, you know, there's not enough content, there's not enough this, there's not enough that, there's too many bugs, there's too many crashes. I think they're going in the right direction. I believe in Astroneer, and I think it's a fantastic game. And I think as we start seeing more and more content come into it, when they start allowing modding to happen, this game is going to blow up. It is just absolutely going to be fantastic, because that content is just going to come pouring in. And you're going to have one of those games that almost kind of like live on forever, mainly because of the modding community. If System Error ever steps away from it and hands it over to the modding community, I think you're going to just have an eternity of stuff. But at any rate, get out there and vote for the Webby Awards. I think they're still going on. So that was the news. I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. We have a fantastic community here. And if you want to follow me on any of my social media, you can find the links in the description below. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.